to my channel. Today we're going to be going over how to use color pencils to draw this dog's eye. I hope that you guys really enjoy this tutorial, and if you have any questions, just leave them down below in the comment section. I've included all of the colors that I'll be using for this drawing if you guys want to check that out. So the first thing that I like to do is I always try to get a nice outline of the area that I'm going to be working on. I like to go from and just focus on one area at a time. So you can see here that I am starting off with a brown color. I am using Walnut Brown to just get a nice little outline. And sorry about the focusing there on the camera. It's being a little finicky for me right now. And now I'm going to be going in with some blue, and I'm using dark indigo. And I'm just going to start putting in a little bit of those darker areas. I don't like to use black too much, so but for the eye area, I'll probably use the most black that I will for this portrait. And I'm going to be putting indigo and the walnut brown underneath the black, and then I'll put the black on top. And the reason why I like to do that is because it will keep the black from looking so matte and just flat. It'll give it a lot more color, which will help to achieve that realism that we're trying to do here. Now I've grabbed a yellow because, as you can see in the reference photo, the iris part of the dog's eye is a lot of yellow, and for that I used cream, and then I'm going in with some yellow ochre to just start laying in some of those colors. I'm pressing very, very lightly on this paper, and I am using Strathmore Bristol Smooth for this. I really like this for color pencils. I know some people, are kind of on the fence about it, but I like it. Now I'm going in with a little bit of, let's see, what color was that? It's kind of a reddish color here. It's Vienna Red, and I'm going to be mixing in a little bit of red violet too in there, and just going back over it with a little bit more brown. And you can see right now it's still grainy because I'm not putting in a lot of pressure right now. If I do that, then the tooth of the paper is going to get smushed, and I won't be able to put in all the layers that I would like to. So that's the reason why you want to do very, very light pressure, and the more layers that you add on, when you start to feel like you have maybe, I would say, between 6 to 8 layers, then you can start pushing a little bit harder, and that's gonna get rid of all those little textured areas on your paper. But first, make sure that you have enough layers on there before you start doing that. Now I've picked up a gray, and I'm actually using a warm gray 5 to start putting in those areas. I'm going back over a little bit more with the cream, and I'll just continue to do this and just build it up slowly. Because paper texture, it's kind of, think of like, this one, it's pretty smooth, but it does have a little bit of texture to it. But it's kind of like a mountain, or like hills that are on the paper, and if you press on those, you will flatten out those hills, and you don't want to do that. So just be very careful in the beginning not to press too hard. And now I'm just going back and forth with the walnut brown and the indigo, and just starting to darken up those areas around the eye. But make sure that when you are using color pencil, it's really hard to pull colors out. I do use a Tombow mono eraser to pull out some areas, but try to preserve those areas if you can, those highlight areas, because like I said, it's hard to pull those out, even with these mono erasers. So I'm grabbing my mono eraser here because I did lose a little bit of that highlight, as you can see right here. And I lost a little bit in this area, so I want to make sure that I put those areas back in there. Now I'm starting to blend out a little bit, I like to blend using a white pencil, and I'll go against the pupil and the iris and blend that in a back and forth motion. And when I do that, it blends it in, but if you look at a dog's eye or any animal's eye, it's not a very harsh line. You have to be careful with your harsh lines and your lines that just kind of blend in together. And that is an area that blends in together and it's not harsh at all. And I do apologize again for my camera. I don't know what was going on with it. It was just having a really hard time focusing. And I'm paying really close attention here to my reference. I started to lose the corner there of the eye, so I want to make sure I got that back in. I'm going in with that warm gray and then some white. And I had put down some of that reddish color. What was that again? I can't remember. The Venetian Red there on the left side of the eye. And when I took that white pencil and blended that out, it gave me this really nice flesh tone color. So I was really happy with that. And now I'm going in with some indigo again to just reestablish those darks. I feel like whenever you're working with animal eyes, making sure that you have the around the eye really dark helps to give that realism that I like to draw myself. But you have to make sure that it's dark enough. And I'm not using, normally I would use some type of blending, but I wanted to try blending with pencils this time because I know that a lot of people don't have, you know, like mineral spirits, or they don't have, like I know Prismacolor. I did a video recently about the Prismacolor colorless blender, and I will post a card up there if you want to watch that video, and it works really well. But I just wanted to try blending with only pencils and seeing how it looks. So I guess we'll see when I get through with this drawing here. Now I'm taking that walnut brown and I'm using it in the same way that I use that white in that back and forth motion. And as you can see, it's starting to give that eye a three-dimensional look. I'm taking in that mono eraser, pulling out those areas again that just keep getting lost because I'm working on a 9 by 12 piece of paper, so it's not very big. And it's really easy to lose those areas. And as you can see right there, I used a brush that I've never used it with paints before, just to dust off my area. A common mistake that a lot of people make is when they start to get little bits of pencil or eraser, they'll take their hand and they'll swipe it. Don't do that. If you do that, you're gonna end up putting a big old mark across your paper. We've all been there. Try to remember to get you something to dust it off, blow it off if you have to, but I like to use a brush just that I haven't used with anything else, just to dust off the area. I'm going back in now with that cream just to reestablish those colors, because as I use that walnut and the yellow ochre, it kind of gets lost. So I just want to reestablish those colors again. And I'll just keep doing this and I'll keep building up the layers as I go. And I am going in with some black just to get those really dark areas, because now I have enough layers underneath. And I'm starting to feel pretty happy with the way that this is looking. So what I'll do is I'll just repeat this process for the other eye using these same exact colors. And like I said, I will have all of the colors that I used listed down in the description below. And I will be doing a tutorial on the fur and the nose, so please make sure that you watch out for that. And if you like what you see, then please consider subscribing. I'm almost to 100 subscribers and I'm hoping that I can get that soon. I know 100 is not a lot, but I've been doing tutorials for like 3 years now and I just would love to hit 100. So if you guys, like I said, have any questions, please feel free to leave any comments that you have below, and I always go through them and I answer any questions that anybody has. I'll see you guys next time.